It's time to answer some more of your questions. All your questions. Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Talks. This is the show where I answer questions that you may have about me or stuff I do and tweet about them. And I'll try to answer as many of them as I can. My name is Chris, and today we have a very special episode because I actually have 4 questions that have been submitted by viewers. So this is the first time I'm able to do an entire episode with viewer questions. So if you want your question answered, be sure to tweet at BigCTV show. Use the hashtag ChrisTalks. You can also comment on the comments of this video. Use the hashtag ChrisTalks. And I might be able to answer your question in a future episode. So I'm going to answer these in order based on when I got them. So the first question is going to be from Colby, who asks what my favorite restaurant is on Disney property, as well as my favorite house cocktail on Disney property. So of course, as I said in the last video, and I'm sure as many of you know, I do work at Walt Disney World. So I get a lot of questions regarding advice or suggestions about Disney, and I feel I'm fairly qualified. I also run a theme park channel, The Thrill Seekers, which if you haven't subscribed, you should. I am going to try to release some new content on there soon. Obviously, I can't go to parks right now, but I can still do some other fun theme park related stuff. So hopefully I'll do that soon. So favorite restaurant on property and favorite house cocktail. Well, I will say it's tough to say favorite restaurant because there's a lot of different types of restaurants on Walt Disney World property. You could be looking for like the top end. You could be looking for something you can enjoy in the parks or the resorts. It really just depends on what you're in the mood for. So I'm gonna break this down to be my favorite quick service and my favorite table service just in general at Walt Disney World. I'm not gonna include Disney Springs because I feel that's kind of a completely different thing altogether. My favorite quick service restaurant, in all honesty, I'm gonna go with Satu'li Canteen over at Disney's Animal Kingdom in Pandora. I think that is easily one of the most unique but also highest quality quick service restaurants available. It's also one of those rare places where everything I've tried from there is really good, and it's also kind of healthy for you, unlike a lot of other quick service options in the parks. So I really like Satu'li Canteen. I think the custom bowls are really good, the desserts are really good, and even though they've made a bunch of new restaurants since then, I think it holds up as still one of the best quick service restaurants in Walt Disney World. Now in terms of table service, I admit I haven't been to nearly as many table service restaurants around Disney property as I probably should, but I'm gonna pick easily the best meal I've ever had from Disney property is from this table service restaurant, and that is the California Grill. If you don't know where the California Grill is, it is actually on the roof of the Contemporary Resort. It's very nice. I was treated to a meal there a couple of years ago. Easily one of the best meals I've ever had. It was spectacular. So if you have the money and you are interested in having a very nice upscale meal, California Grill, great choice. Those are my answers for favorite restaurant. In terms of cocktails, I'd say my favorite drinks honestly are from the Edison over at Disney Springs. There are a number of different things. Probably my favorite drink is a drink called The Last Word. It's really, really tasty, has a good flavor to it. I don't remember exactly what's in it, but it's got some good flavor to it. So definitely check out the drinks on the menu of the Edison, specifically The Last Word. You won't regret it. All right, next question is going to be from Goofy McFly87. Big fan of the channel. Thank you for asking a question. If you could work at Disneyland, which attraction would you want to work at? Now, I'm going to preface, yes, I could cheat and pick an attraction that exists on both coasts. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to limit my options to an exclusive Disneyland attraction. Because the obvious pick for me would be Rise of the Resistance, which I'm hoping to work at Disney World eventually as well. So if I were to pick any attraction at Disneyland that is exclusive to Disneyland, I would probably go, honestly, with Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. The main reason why I picked Mission Breakout is I think they do a really nice job with the theming for that attraction. It's pretty immersive, and especially once Avengers Campus opens, it's going to be even better. Personally, I love attractions that have really immersive and incredible theming. So anytime I can bust out my kind of acting chops, I will. So I feel Guardians is probably the best pick. My honorable mention would probably be the Indiana Jones Adventure, just because that's one of my favorite rides at Disneyland. And it'd be kind of cool to rock the fedora. But I think if I were to work at any attraction at Disneyland, I would probably go with Guardians of the Galaxy, just because I think it'd be kind of a cool attraction. It's well themed and immersive, and I think it'd be fun to kind of play with that theming a little bit. All right, my last two questions are going to be from Trevor Boyle, a good friend of mine who I've actually worked with back in the day. First question, what is the hardest challenge you've faced in your life so far? Very deep question. And it's one that honestly is kind of difficult to figure out, just because there's been a lot of different challenges. And I could say anything from overcoming adversity or dealing with personal tragedy in my life, anything like that. And it's tough to peg down just one specific thing that I think has been a major challenge. I think, honestly, the overall biggest challenge I've had to deal with in my life is remaining positive when things aren't going so well. And that's something that I've kind of been struggling with for a long period of time. I actually have depression, and there are times when things don't go well at all, and that depression just sneaks up on me really, really quickly. But I do my best to try to always look on the bright side of things, and some days it's harder than others. I've been dealing with a lot this past couple months, and obviously this whole coronavirus thing not helping at all. But even when things are bleak or things are dark like they are right now, I feel it's always good to try to look at positive things. For instance, yeah, it kind of sucks. We're all stuck inside having to deal with a whole lot of questions, a whole lot of concerns about our health and the health of our country and of our world. But you can't control that. You can only control what's going on in front of you. So I like to think of it as, hey, well, I can, call my loved ones, make sure they're doing okay. Call my friends, check up on them, make sure they're doing okay. I can catch up on video games that I've been meaning to play, which I'm currently trying to do. I can make new videos, try to cheer up everybody who watches my channel. Just try to find little things you can do to not only improve your life, but improve the lives of those around you, and just make things a little bit better. So that's kind of something I've been kind of preaching throughout this whole coronavirus thing is, we can't control the fact that the virus is spreading. The only thing we can do is follow the instructions, stay inside, self-isolate, self-quarantine if you're starting to feel sick, and do what you can do. Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest challenge I've had to deal with in my life, is remaining positive when things aren't going so well. I know that doesn't seem like a huge thing, but it can be, especially as someone who deals with depression on a fairly regular basis. Having to fight back against those depression feelings and trying to remain positive can be quite difficult. So I'm proud to say that I win most of the time, but you gotta keep fighting. So that's my biggest challenge that I've had to deal with in my life, and it's a recurring challenge that I always have to deal with in my life. All right, I'm gonna end on a weird note. If you were put under a magic spell and transformed into an item that you've done a taste test for, which one would you prefer to become? So if I were to become a food that I have done a taste test for, what would I want to be? See, the whole idea of becoming something that is eaten is kind of odd to me. It's like, well, I mean, if I'm food, like, do I want to be eaten? Do I want to be enjoyed? Do I not want people to enjoy me? Like, what is your goal here? So going back to my last question where I talked about making the best of what you have, if I were to become a food, I'd want to be something that can be easily enjoyed and that most people would enjoy. So my answer is I would become a Disneyland churro. Because Disneyland churros are honestly one of my favorite things about Disneyland in general. They are so good. They have so many different flavors and varieties of them. And it doesn't matter how many times I've had the standard Disneyland churro, or any of them for that matter, they always put a smile on my face when I'm in the park. So I would like to do the same thing to people around me and bring that sense of joy by being a Disneyland churro. So there you go. There are 4 questions that you asked me, and I hopefully gave you a decent answer. And that is going to do it for this episode of Chris Talks. If you would like to have your question answered in the future, be sure to leave a comment. Use the hashtag Chris Talks and ask your question, or you can tweet at BigCTV Show. On Twitter, use the hashtag Chris Talks and ask your question, and I will hopefully read more of your user-submitted questions in the next video. Remember, new videos come out every day at noon Eastern Time, so be sure to hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell, that way you will be alerted when each new video drops. Thank you for watching. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day, staying healthy, staying safe, and I'll see you next time on Chris Talks. Bye.